Good evening. Welcome to Monday's edition of Diamond Live. Thank you for making time. We will be looking at some of the big news stories in the country. The president is currently in China. Quite a number of collaborations. He has instructed his ministers of commerce, trade and industry, as well as Minister of Infrastructure, to build collaboration with the good people of the Republic of China towards making corridors that will make, or rather open, Zambia to the world. And so we'll be looking at some of those issues, but also there's still a lot happening in as far as the economy, the state of the economy. We'll be looking into that with the Socialist Party, as well as their state of affairs. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Cheswa Kapasa.
Thank you so much for joining us for Monday's edition of Diamond Live, the first edition in the month of September. We're getting closer to the end of the year, and we're getting closer also to the rainy season, and many Zambians are praying that this time around at least may it pour, so that the Zambians could have electricity, as now load shedding has been extended to technically 21 hours after ZESCO announcing that we might be only having, power for 3 days only. My name is for 3 hours, not 3 days, for 3 hours only. We're going to be looking at all these issues, but also we'll be looking into issues around the continuous resignation of senior members of the Socialist Party. The big question we're asking tonight is, what really is happening in the Socialist Party? We'll begin the show with Today in a Snap. Well, ZESCO yesterday announced that 21 hours of load shedding has begun effective immediately, and that Zambia will now be provided with electricity for 3 hours only until further notice. According to a statement issued by ZESCO Corporate Affairs Department, the action has been undertaken to cushion the power supply shortfall. The power utility company said it would install diesel power generators in some markets to support business continuity. Well, this is really something that many Zambians opted not to, reach to. The situation where power cuts, for 21 hours, the majority of the time, many Zambians don't have electricity in their homes. The ripple effects of this is that businesses get to die. If you have to operate on a genset for 24, if you're operating a TV station like Diamond TV or any other TV station, for you to be able to operate for 21 hours continuously, it needs diesel. And this diesel is very expensive. For you to operate that barber shop, even for 10 hours, you need diesel, and the diesel is very expensive as well. And so obviously this has a huge impact on the general economy at large. Government coming up with different solutions to ensure that they cushion the impact that especially businesses are feeling, the small businesses, the welders, the people that do car washes, and the people that run saloons, barbershops, and all these are complaining in these compounds that this really has affected them greatly, and they continue calling on government to come up with practical solutions that are going to help cushion the impact that extended load shedding is having on our people.
Of course, Andrew. I mean, you're talking 3 hours in a day. I don't know how long you are at home.
Funny thing,
but for me, we spend most of the time at work, so I haven't seen power the last I don't know when. And 3 hours will mean I will probably only see power when I'm at work.
Yes, it's become a very expensive commodity to see, even to see it in your own house. At least at work here, they buy.
It's diamond to see power.
It's diamond.
Diamond.
Yes, power has become gold. It's become it's become diamond. I don't know the situation in your area, but the situation in my area is very bad. That
so you must utilize the 3 hours.
Here's a schedule for us.
Very well.
In Chamba Valley, here's a schedule. Power comes between 01 and 03.
So you must stay awake to charge your phones and your devices.
You must stay awake to cook. If you don't have a gas stove, you must stay awake to cook, to bath.
Wow.
So for me, I leave my phone to charge, my laptop also, I leave it to charger, and I leave the geyser on, so that at any time, because it's unpredictable now. So what's making it worse is that, number one, ZESCO is not even, respecting its own schedule. ZESCO is not shedding people for many hours. Others go for 2 days without having electricity. The only thing that I appreciate about ZESCO is that they've been able to come out in the open and indicate the challenges that they're passing through as a utility company. But anything that is going to not to provide solution is still a problem, and so it's really bad. I'm only feeling for the people that are running businesses and how expensive it is for the businesses, but also people are calling for accountability, especially with the things that the UPND mentioned while as in opposition. They mentioned a lot of things around fixing the energy mix. One of the things that President Hakainde Hichilema has consistently been blamed for is the fact that when the Patriotic Front complained of climate change being the cause of load shedding, by then I think we're at 8 hours of load shedding and everyone was complaining. In fact, we were saying that it's like a miracle finding power, because power was cutting for 8 hours under the Patriotic Front.
It's double the time now.
It's now literally, in fact, we're not counting the number of load shedding now. We're counting the number of hours we're having power. We're having power.
Wow. But the minister, Andrew, is with the president in China and the Minister of Energy. And so one of the meetings that they had is obviously talking issues around energy, and the president has been talking a lot around collaboration. I mean, he's talking issues around transport, building corridors from our borders that will connect into different borders. And so perhaps there is a commitment from the president to see the country better, except the UPND government have emphasized this has been as a result of the drought situation. Climate change has come to hit hard. But like you rightly put it, they in opposition told us that it was just lack of leadership.
Yeah.
And this is where the situation is. So the next successful government must not come and complain if they promise Zambians that they will deal with the issue around load shedding. I mean, people must be honest and put facts on the table that this is the current situation, this is a drought.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that, issues around drought, climate change that affect countries globally should be political, I don't think the power situation, I mean, just today in Mwansabombwe, there is 3 people that have died, allegedly died, because they couldn't have a maximum supply of oxygen, because they were on oxygen.
When the power
reports allege that they're on oxygen and power cut. And so I don't think that loss of life should, issues around loss of life should be politicized. And so this issue should never be political. I think that it should be about Zambians working together. There should be adequate commitment from both the opposition and government to see that this problem is dealt. I don't know if you've had time to inquire if you can install solar at your house, Andrew. Well, and I don't know I don't know how heavy your pocket is to finance that, because I was shocked to know
it's for 500,000 kwacha to install a solar system.
Like, that's a lot of money for the average Zambian. That's a lot of money to just have an inverter in your house and to use solar.
And government is advised that you should go that way. You should go that way.
Of course, but that's not easy.
Well, the president says that he's been spending sleepless nights in terms of wanting to fix this energy mix. Are those sleepless nights working? Only time will tell. Socialist Party National Chairperson is Kelvin Kaunda. He's going to be joining us to discuss issues happening in the Socialist Party, many stating that the Socialist Party is full of dictatorial tendencies. That's the reason for why people are leaving. But is it true? We're going to be finding out right after these short messages.
the belly's rumbling, hunger's coming. Uncle Joe will give you something. Filling with a natural flavor. Uncle Joe is in there. Smooth, shaky Joe. Shaky, shaky Joe. Smooth, shaky Joe. Smooth. Shaky Joe, fill yourself with goodness.
Yes, it's the 6th edition of Danikaya Music Fest. Performing live, MC Wapu, JK, Ranel, John Chitty, Winston and Bramlin, Chameleon, Jody O, guest appearance by Yoma. Danikaya at the Showgrounds Polo Fields B on Saturday, the 7th of September 2024, starting at 19 hours till Kaya. Get your pre-sale tickets. Ordinary 200 kwacha, VIP 300 kwacha. Event powered by Tri-Lounge Pub and Grill, Mbangaya Mambwe Lodges, Hot FM, Kwitu FM, Jamelia Car Rentals, and Javi Entertainment. See you there.
1, 2, 3, go! Aloha. 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 Make fresh fun with Aloha. Just as easy as 1, 2, 3, and all my clothes are squeaky clean. Quick to remove the dirt and stains, and a fresh fragrance remains. Never seen nothing like it, that's exactly why I like it. So whether color white or black, it brings a new right back. Aloha. 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 Make fresh fun with Aloha.
The ZNBS fixed deposit account is the key to unlocking your financial potential. With competitive interest rates and the ability to choose a tenure that fits your needs, you can ensure that your money is working hard for you. Whether you're saving for a rainy day, a dream vacation, or even retirement, the fixed deposit account guarantees that your money will grow at a steady rate, giving you peace of mind and security for your future. Open a fixed deposit account and watch your savings flourish. Take control of your financial future today. Terms and conditions apply. For more details, visit your nearest branch. Follow us on Facebook or email customerservice@znbs.co.zm. It's possible to buy, build, and renovate your dream home with ZNBS.
Today,
start big
with Victory
Cornflakes.
Victory Cornflakes.
The end of your journey will be big. Stay on your feet, chase to achieve. Give it your all and just believe that it's gonna be big when you start big. Victory Cornflakes. Start big today. Victory Cornflakes. Remember to always keep it, do it. In whatever you do, it. Keep it in whatever you do.
Today, the best maize grain Zambia has to offer are perfectly toasted into golden flakes that pack a big crunch. Today, start big with Big Tree Cornflakes.
Wow promo! Great prizes to be won from 1xBet. Cash prizes. iPhone 14 Pro. 100 bonus points. Use promo code to get welcome bonus. Wow.
Pascal's showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that the wells can store many, many messages. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded your contact center yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
Well, thanks so much for still staying with us. Now, the Socialist Party has faced significant setbacks over the past few weeks, with several senior members resigning from various positions and for various reasons. Now, these resignations began shortly after the party terminated the appointments of Antonio Mwanza as Deputy General Secretary in charge of politics and Ali Tembo as Deputy General Secretary in charge of administration, without providing any tangible reason why they were fired from those positions. Notable recent resignations include Chris Chinda, a member of the National Management Committee, Dr. Lawrence Mwelwa, Director of Research and Training, and Gabriel Bwaliansofwa, Kawe District Secretary and Vice Provincial Treasurer, as well as Traimo Mwenda, who was Chairman in charge of elections, among the many other people that have resigned the past couple of weeks. Meanwhile, the Socialist Party has stated that those departing are failing to adhere to the party's rules and regulations. But what is a major reason why these people keep resigning from the Socialist Party? This is the reason for why we're joined in by a senior member of the party in charge of youths from the Socialist Party, Mr. Kelvin Kaunda. He joins us on tonight's edition of Diamond Live. Thank you so much, comrade, for joining us on Diamond Live tonight.
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening, viewers out there.
Well, you could be part of the discussion by calling us on the number that is on your screen. Be a part of the show by ensuring that you dial that number and call us. A number of issues that we're discussing tonight, Comrade Kaunda. The party leadership has been accused of exhibiting dictatorial tendencies in its decision-making, and those that are resigning are claiming that the only people that have got the ultimate power to make decisions are three people: Comrade Akende, Comrade Fred Membe, and Comrade Musumali. And mostly these people have complained bitterly that they're not even passing through disciplinary before, they could have their appointments, terminated. Is it true that the Socialist Party is dictatorial in its nature?
Well, that is not true. That is not true. I've been privileged to sit in some of those meetings which were considering the recalling of some of those comrades. I don't want to really apply the word termination, because as socialists, we are basically deployed in those positions. The Socialist Party and its members holds the view that we are all leaders, even without titles. And so each one of us is basically deployed in those positions to serve on behalf of the general populace. And so we have no attachment to titles. I know some people make an issue out of titles, but for us, titles means nothing. That's the more reason why we've been consistently saying one of the things we are going to do immediately we form government in 2026 is to do away with the title of His Excellence. Because we don't believe that human being can be excellent. The only person, the only supernatural being who must be given that title is God Himself. He's the only one who is excellent. And so, to call a fellow human being excellency is something that does not sit well with us, because every human being is bound to make a mistake.
What would you call the title?
Just a comrade president is enough. But to address them as Your Excellency, look, it gets to our leaders' head, where they begin to think that they have suddenly become super human beings. And it also gets to our leaders' heads.
But this is a title that is used the world over. Why should
the mere fact that it is being used, the mere fact that it's being used elsewhere doesn't make it correct. We have our own position, and we must define our own position. What we believe in as a Socialist Party is collective leadership. That every human being is bound to make a mistake, and you don't take away anything when you address them as comrade president.
But I think the question hasn't been responded to. You have been accused, in fact, in all the resignation letters of all these people that have resigned, the word dictatorship comes out to be prominent. And is it possible that these people could just be lying, that your party is not, exhibiting high levels of dictatorship, and especially they mention that the president is a dictator, President Membe.
What's the definition of dictatorship? Maybe there is some element of misconception as to the definition of dictatorship. When a meeting sits and it considers a particular item and come up with a resolution, how is that supposed to be qualified as dictatorship? Because the way I understand dictatorship is that decisions are made unilaterally. There is no consultation. There is no meeting which is held. So in most of these decisions, we've had meetings, and the minutes are there. If anyone cares to know, we can produce the record of the minutes. Except
and
people...
so you mean that these people that are using the word dictatorship, don't understand what it means? Is it possible that all of them that were served with you...
We can't say all of them. There have never been any comments from Comrade Antonio Mwanza, because he's still our member. He's never left our party. There's never been any comment coming from Comrade Alec Banda. He's still our member. He's not left the party. If there are 2-3 people who have used that word, do all of them have a fair appreciation of the term? Or is it something that they are just borrowing from one of them who had perhaps used that particular term, and it has become a chorus for any one of them to use it?
Perhaps you should be worried that not just 1 or 2 members, but several members. I mean, more than 2 is several members.
And these senior positions.
Senior positions using the same term, dictatorial. Isn't it that worrying for you? Doesn't that sort of equally dent your image as a political party?
No, it doesn't.
The fact that you equally champion democracy?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
It doesn't worry you that individuals go onto media to talk about
the understanding of dictatorial is that they must be given an opportunity to be heard. I think from the statements I've had sight of, that's what their major complaint has been, that they were never given an opportunity to be heard. But you and me...
Why is that?
Sorry?
Why haven't they been given an opportunity?
In politics, that's a standard practice. We've seen it in this country where ministers are dropped. We've seen it even our comrade Winter Kavimba, when he was served as Secretary General and Minister of Justice. What is on duty was dropped. Was he given an opportunity to be heard? No. So when you are considering politics,
does it make that decision right?
Yes, it does, because he who appoints you should be able to disappoint you. That's the rule of the game. So the mere fact...
Are you agreeing tonight, Mr. Kaunda, that yes, indeed, these people haven't been given an opportunity to be heard?
No. The mere fact that they were not given an opportunity to be heard does not in any way qualify the decision. That does not in any way justify the fact that we're our party is practicing some dictatorial tendencies. No, it doesn't.
But that's not how democracy works.
Dictatorial is about unilateral decisions. When 3 of us meets as senior leaders of the party and considers an item and makes a decision, that's not about to dictatorial.
It's not only the people that we've mentioned. Others have resigned for different reasons. I'll give you an example of the Kawe District Secretary and Vice Provincial Treasurer, Comrade Nsofwa, who resigned, from the party, stating that, the party is failing to effectively coordinate and support grassroots mobilization. He has to use money from his own pocket.
But you see, a political party is an association. It's not an income-generating institution. Tell me that is one political party which is capable of generating resources. When people join politics, they join out of their own volition as members of the association. It's a society.
What makes this case different is because it goes against what you had committed as a party. You committed to helping the grassroots. These people that you appointed in these, in these positions, you told them you're going to provide for them. Support.
Where is that commitment?
That's what he said.
Look, it's what he says against what we say. I would have loved the comrade to come out in the open and say, look, this is what is in black and white. This is what the party leadership committed. But we all know, it's when you have a club, the club is dependent on the goodwill of its members. The challenge we have is that some of the people get to join the Socialist Party with a view that the Socialist Party has a lot of money, and therefore they're going to have all this financial benefit. That's not the case. A Socialist Party, like any other political party...
Doesn't it have money?
Look, we don't have the kind of money to be giving members. We may have little money here and there, which we are getting from the well-wishers and the members' contributions.
Do your members get paid for offering a service?
Definitely.
Do you give them contracts?
Definitely not, except those who are working for the Secretariat. There are those who are full-time members of the Secretariat. Of course, through our contribution, we try to find a way of trying to support them in a small way. But ordinarily, any political party is basically an association, is basically a club, and it must be supported by the membership.
Do you think political parties should have or be regulated? I remember that there was, at the NDF some years back, the political parties bill. This was a very serious issue that came up at the National Dialogue Forum when we had the constitution-making processes being reviewed. And there was issues around funding of political parties and whether or not, members should, and so on. What do you make of these decisions around political parties? Do you think that they should be, in a certain way, regulated?
Well, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. If the political parties are financed by the government of the day through the appropriate provision in terms of the budgetary provision, chances are also that they'll be existing at the pleasure of the president or the government of the day. But if they're not funded, also they have some element of autonomy. So it's a two-way thing. We've seen that practice in other progressive societies. Yes, where there are deliberate provisions to fund the opposition political parties, because at the end of the day, they are part of the governance system of that particular country or society. So are we ready as a country? Maybe yes, maybe not. Perhaps it's a discourse for another day.
There's been discussions around why Antonio Manza, was fired from his position as a Deputy Secretary General in charge of politics. Others stating that he wanted to form his own political party. What is the position of the Socialist Party in terms of why you fired him?
I think the issues are administrative, and as I said earlier on, Comrade Antonio Manza is still the member of the Socialist Party. Comrade Alec Banda is still a member of the Socialist Party, and therefore I'm not careful enough to discuss administrative issues of our own members on the platform such as this one. Whether there was an intention to form a political party was only time will tell.
Have these reached your office? That he had intentions to he has intentions to form a political party?
Perhaps it's not something that falls directly under my office. Maybe something that falls directly under our senior leaders. But if at all there was that intention, or there was never such intention, time will tell.
Did you regret having appointed some of these people to these big positions?
No, we don't regret.
Why does the leadership say that perhaps the mistake you made was to appoint members that you didn't really know to these senior positions, and that's the reason why they are resigning in great numbers?
Oh, look, yes, we may make mistakes here and there, but we regret no, because leadership is about taking decisions, whether right or wrong.
What criteria do you use to appoint these individuals?
Well, perhaps it's not for me to answer that question, because that is the responsibility of the Secretary General. He's the one who's mandated with the appointment of all senior party officials. So perhaps that question can adequately be addressed by the Secretary General of the party.
The former spokesperson of your party, Father Frank Wale, says that there's more members that are likely going to leave the Socialist Party. What are you doing to prevent more members? Because
we don't have to do anything.
Almost every day you see a letter on Facebook stating that I've resigned.
The number of people leaving who are leaving the party against the number who are joining the party is what gives us a good...
we don't see those numbers.
What we've deliberately decided, we're not going to be popularizing those who are joining us.
No, but the political party is about popularity.
Yes, it is about popularity, so but it's not all the time. Because the mere fact that others have been doing that doesn't compel us to do the same thing. We are comforted of the fact that we have a lot of members joining the Socialist Party. Look, we are talking here where we are. We are only discussing about 5-6 people countrywide. 6 people.
You claim to be the fastest growing political party.
Yes, we are still the fastest growing.
When you go to election, doesn't reflect what you're saying.
No, the results can attest for themselves.
Doesn't bother you, Mr. Kaunda?
No, look, it's something that is not abnormal. You're talking about a national organization, and where you have a loss of 6 members,
not just members,
surely that's the normal loss. That's a normal loss.
Senior members.
Yeah, whether they are senior or junior member, that is a normal loss. At the end of the day, every member, whether senior or junior, they only have 1 vote. So whether they are senior, and that's the reason why for us titles really means nothing. We are all have 1 vote at the end of the day.
Are you taking self-introspection as a party to really get to introspect and see why, if there's probably elements of truth, any iota of truth in what they're saying, are you concerned at the number of people leaving your party, or you're not concerned because you don't care?
No, look, every loss is not something that must be celebrated. That is a notorious fact. But also it is something that must never surprise you, because there is no institution which does not lose its members. Even corporate entities, you realize that people are resigning on a daily basis, somewhere. So we must never be taken by surprise when people or individuals are leaving an institution, because life is ever a series of parting. So if people do not leave by way of nature, they will leave out of their own volition, because such is the nature of life. We have been in institutions where people are resigning on a daily basis. But did that bring down the institution? No. Because life is ever a series of parting. So yes, we are not the only political party where members are leaving. Except I think there's been a lot more focus on the Socialist Party. But I want to tell you that as a Socialist Party, we've been receiving a lot of members from different political parties from all walks of life. But I also want to take this opportunity to make mention that we are also in the business of developing our own leaders, other than the political faces that we are accustomed to. There's this understanding that once this politician who's known leaves, then the political party is destabilized in one way or the other. We hold the view that it is important for us to begin to develop our own leaders that are going to buy into the vision of the party, that will be relevant, that will give us the desired outcome once we form government.
What are the plans for the party's General Assembly? I mean, you previously hinted that it would be held this month, which is last month.
This month, September, actually.
September. We're going to ask you, are members free to contest any position of their choice? I mean, there was a lot of questions around the president, and he in fact stated that it was the political party that wanted him to be to carry on the leadership of the party. What are the areas? Can you clear the air around these issues?
Look, as I said earlier on, that we are a highly democratic party, and Comrade Fred Membe is on record quite recently when he was having an interaction with you, our colleagues from the media. He did indicate that any member of the party was at liberty to contest any position, starting with the president's position, all the way to the list of the position. Surely are these characteristics of a dictatorial party? If the president himself is on record, says, look, I'm ready to be challenged. The Secretary General said, I'm ready to be challenged. The members of the political bureau have said, any party member, they are at liberty. So it's up to those that aspires to lead or to participate in the leadership of the party to step up.
Is the General Assembly going on?
Yes, it is. It is going on. Yes, it's going to take place sometime this month.
Sometime this month.
Yes,
about the 19th of September. But also, there's concern that has come through that. Why do you want to exist in isolation as the Socialist Party when other political parties are holding hands to ensure that they put pressure on the government of the day? Others have suggested that why doesn't Socialist Party join forces with the United Kwacha Alliance?
I think we've been very consistent on the issue of alliances. And we've said it in no uncertain terms that the issue of taking the Socialist Party into an alliance is not something that can be decided upon unilaterally. Not even the president has the power to unilaterally make a decision to take the Socialist Party into an alliance. No. We've
But we're
said
told
it.
that, we're
We've
told
said
that
it.
the decisions are made by 3 people in the Socialist Party. So
And you can see it. You can actually prove them wrong. That actually, if that was the case, by now we should have had a position. But if you check our comments or our submission from the party leadership, we've been very consistent. We've said, look, this is not a decision that any one of us is capable of making. If any of us took that particular decision, such a decision will be considered ultra vires. The only organ which is mandated to take such a decision is the General Congress. And we've said it time without numbers that until this is an item that will be considered during the Congress.
The Congress.
Yes. So those who are alleging that, no, this is a dictatorship party and this and that, you can literally see that they are being less than honest. Because if this was the case, by now we should have had a position on this matter. But we've said, no, look, according to our constitution, only the Congress can take a position on this matter.
What are your thoughts?
What are your personal thoughts about alliances?
Well, the more we are, the better we are, the more wise we are.
Meaning?
But these alliances must be premised on something. That's my personal thought. We should not just come together out of convenience. We must have a reason, a common ground to come together. That's my personal opinion. But I'm not saying this is the position of the party, no. The General Conference ultimately will have their own ultimate position. But for me as an individual...
Are you taking time, Comrade Kaunda, to go to some of these people that are leaving the party, deliberately go to some of these people that are leaving the party, to speak to them, to lure them to come back? Or perhaps you don't care?
No, it's not about luring them. You see, it's about them having a conviction. It's not enough to have numbers without conviction. The revolution is about conviction. It's about men and women who are willing to sacrifice. You see, people join political parties or organizations with different intentions or expectations. So sometimes, as I said earlier on, people will join SP with a view that this is a party which has got money, and so I'll get a financial benefit out of it. Sometimes people will join a political party because they're interested in titles. So people get to join a political party for this or that reason. So if those reasons are not satisfied, they're free to walk away. We are looking for genuine members. Members who believes in the struggle. Members who are willing to sacrifice. Members who are convinced that the Socialist Party has got a program to liberate this country for good and for better. Such is the kind of membership we are looking for. It's not enough for us to form government in 2026 with ill-prepared leaders. We would not be able to make any difference. And that's why between now and 2026, we're in a process of developing leaders who will be equal to the task. Because there are certain things that the Zambian people expect of us to do within 60 days of forming government. We should not go back to the people and begin to give them excuses. No. So, for us as Socialist Party, it's not about forming government, but are we going to form government with the right set of leaders who are capable of delivering the revolutionary agenda that we've given unto ourselves as a party?
So in short, you're not following these people that are leaving. In short,
look,
it's based on their conviction. If their conviction tells them,
if we've given them a program, we've told them what we plan to do, and they are willing to sacrifice for the greater good of this country, or do they want to live for the present and forgo the future? The decision is all theirs, and we will not force any one of them want to live the present and forgo the future.
Can the Socialist Party exist without Dr. Fred Membe?
It can. Comrade Fred Membe just one of the members of the Socialist Party. And as I said, should he be found wanting equally, like any other members, he's not immune from disciplinary actions. That's how democratic we are as a party. We don't believe in worshipping leaders. No. There's no alpha and omega. And that's what we're saying. When we form even government, the issue of excellence must be taken out of those titles.
The reason I ask like this is because you said that if he's found erring, he'll be dealt with as well.
Yes.
As Comrade President.
we can recall him.
You can recall him, but
Yes.
you're not taking interest in these people who are resigning and they're mentioning his name, consistently mentioning his name. Can't you sit as a separate entity, as a separate...
Okay. Those who are calling for his
committee?
name, let them bring out something really tangible. What is it that Comrade Fred Membe has done wrong? Other than them just saying, giving a blank statement. You know, decisions are made by 3 people. Are you sure decisions are made by 3 people? Have you had sight of the minutes?
No, this is...
I've been in meetings.
This comes from the senior member of the party, and so
But
the chances that he's saying the
But I
truth
can
are true.
tell you that I've been in meetings where some of these decisions have been made. Me, I've been in meetings.
Just recently.
So why is my name not being mentioned that Kaunda was in that meeting? Why are other members like Paul Monga and a few other people being mentioned? Sometimes people want to say things which suits them. And unfortunately, most politicians are economical with the truth.
With the truth.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
Yeah. You've been crying so much, Comrade Kaunda, with your party, that you've not been given, time to address the people through a rally, and you say that every time that you apply, it's going to be turned down. But just a few months ago, on the 27th of June this year, your party willingly withdrew, your planned rally, which was scheduled for 2 days after. That was the 29th of June, at Chawama Mrs. Compound, ground right here, in Lusaka. Suggestions that are there, and people are talking that the only reason why you decided to withdraw is because you didn't have enough numbers, and you'd be greatly embarrassed at the fact that no one was going to come to your rally. Is that true?
That's far from the truth. We only withdrew when we realized that 48 hours before the rally, we had still not gotten any communication from the police. And you colleagues, you do know that during that particular time, we were involved also in a number of by-elections. It was during the campaigning period, and some of our leaders were deployed in various places. Now, can you imagine 48 hours into the rally, there's no communication? And some of our informers did tell us that actually they were planning to give us a response few hours before the rally.
But
that would have been the people that are part of them. I mean, it's not everyone that hates us.
But here it says that you withdrew the planned rally on the 27th when it was supposed to be held on the 29th.
Yes, that is 48 hours. 27th and 29th, that's 48 hours. We still had not received an official communication from the police. So tell me, if they had given us on the following day around midnight, when could we have gotten those people who were in the remote space to come who should have been part of that line? So what was difficult with the state communicating with us in good time? Because we had written to them in good time. Why should they wait until the last minute?
Citizens First rallies, they are given literally a day before.
But it's different. The circumstances are different. There's no by-election, and they're not involved in any by-elections. So it's easy to put together their resources and their people. They did a similar thing in Kitwe. They gave us a permit 24 hours before, and we were able to mobilize ourselves. The moment we presented ourselves at the venue, again we were stopped. You remember? But this time around, we were out in various districts where we are having all these by-elections. 48 hours before, we still had no official response. And we know that all they wanted was to frustrate us or enable us to look as if we didn't have the people, because all our leaders were out. Most of our key leaders were out. We want to challenge this government that let them give us a permit, even just 2 days before, so that we can prove to them whether or not we have audience. Otherwise, if
do you have audience?
Of course we do have. I mean, that's the more reason why they are scared. That's the reason why they cannot respond to us timorously so. They have to wait until the very last minute. But I want to tell you that even then they were reluctant to give us a permit. Even if we had not withdrawn, they still had difficulties. They were still debating as whether or not to go ahead and give us a permit. When was the last time they gave us a permit? It was in Kitwe. Since then, it has been almost an impossible task for us to be able to obtain a permit.
Have you been applying to hold a mass rally?
Look, we've done that a couple of times. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. We've tried it before and we've seen it's not working. We've complained a couple of times. So perhaps it's time for us to mobilize the party using a different strategy. And that's exactly what we are doing.
The opposition economic front just yesterday joined the UPND Alliance. Comrade Winter Kavimba joined the UPND Alliance because it looks much more attractive, you know, as a political party. What do you make of his, you know, of his going to join the UPND?
You see, it makes a sad reading, because the last time I checked, Comrade Winter Kavimba is one of the most reasonable politicians. Is one of the outspoken politician. And I hold the view as an individual that sometimes as people grow in terms of age, also wisdom comes with them. But now I'm tempted to think that it's not all the time that age comes with wisdom. It is embarrassing for Comrade Winter Kavimba, Lily, to U-turn on his principles. Not too long ago, when he visited Community House, he featured on What FM, and he was asked the question whether or not there were some negotiations for him to work with the UPND. And he refused, not once. Throughout that program, he kept on refusing. But you see, you cannot insult the collective intelligence of the Zambian people. You can be outspoken, but nobody beats the collective wisdom of the Zambian people.
What's so unreasonable about joining the UPND?
So what has changed from what he used to say not too long ago?
But
his statement is public knowledge.
Isn't that what politicians are known for?
Well, it's people like Comrade Winter Kavimba who makes politics look dirty, who are the reason why politics is not able to attract the very best of our minds in this country.
How so? Because you also left a political party and joined another political party. So
yes.
So how does that make you different?
No, it is different. At least I have a conviction, and I've said it on many other forums. I left the PF because I could not agree with them, and I joined the Socialist Party on the basis that it equally champions a pro-poor agenda. And I've been very consistent. There was never a time when I said the Socialist Party was a bad party. But Comrade Winter Kavimba, time without numbers, has accused the UPND of so many things. So what has changed? And other than that, we have heard, as a opposition political party, that there's a project worth $40 million, which has been channeled through his law firm. There's that allegation, where there are also allegations that he has negotiated a cabinet appointment. Only time will tell whether these allegations are true or not. Only him can defend himself. But we hope that none of these two allegations are true. But if that will be, if these two allegations will stand out to be true, well, there's everything wrong. You can't trade off your principles because of your personal benefit. You're actually betraying the masses of our people. Why should my personal interest overtake?
Do you think UPND is a criminal organization? That people can't join it?
Is it a criminal? No, what I know is it's a corrupt organization. Because there's a lot of corruption taking place in the UPND. And I don't think Comrade Winter Kavimba has the capacity to deal with the corruption that is currently subsisting in the UPND. I also hold the view and believe that our colleagues in the UPND, their leadership is premised on lies. And I don't know how Comrade Winter Kavimba single-handedly will change that position. Because UPND, by its nature, it is inherently corrupt, and it rose into, it got into government on the premises of lies. So it will be very interesting to see what Comrade Winter Kavimba is going to do to turn around. When
you say UPND is corrupt, do you mean individuals are corrupt, or perhaps the entire organization is corrupt?
Look, organization constitutes individuals. It's not an organization. I mean, when every organization constitutes individuals.
But I'll give an example of yourself. You're in the Patriotic Front. The people called you criminals and corrupt individuals. But are you corrupt?
Of course, the record is there to speak for itself. But that does not take away the fact that organization constitutes individuals. So when you say it is corrupt, there are prominent leaders of the party who are corrupt. And this corruption is becoming cancerous. And it's spreading like wildfire.
Well, we're going to be taking your phone calls. The phone lines are now open. But before we can, open the phone lines, Comrade Kaunda, yesterday I saw you stranded. You were at Mukobeko, prisons in Kawe. You accompanied, Comrade Fred Membe. But and obviously you are going to see the colleagues, Honorable Chilangwa and Honorable Chitotela. You are denied entry. Were you given the reasons why you were denied entry at Mukobeko prisons?
Of course, our people, the only reason they have is that they have instruction from superior officers. If you quiz them to find out who are those superiors, they're not careful enough to disclose. But for me, yesterday's incidents was rather very embarrassing to the officers themselves. I think that it's something that they must pick some lesson from. One moment, they got instructions that we must never be allowed entry. It took the Honorable Minister, Jack Mwembu, to intervene. And we were thinking, surely, now it is the responsibility of the minister to decide who goes to visit who, which people must visit which individuals who are incarcerated.
But hasn't that been the case? It's been the case. Look, throughout
the fact that it has been the case doesn't make it right. A wrong is wrong, whether it was being done by the UPND or by the PF or the MMD or the UNIP. It is a wrong, and we must correct that.
So is this a cancer that we fail to deal with as a people?
And that's why we vote for
law enforcement agencies. Is this something that we still struggle to do?
The reason why people vote for a change is because they want new things. They want our leaders to make a difference. Look, right now we are being led by my fellow elder, Eldaga in the Ichilema, who understands that the biblical instructions are that we must visit the sick. We must visit those in prison. Unless it is lost on him as an elder. But this is a biblical instruction.
Let's pick a caller. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Comrade Kaunda, I just want to challenge you. What were the changes that were made in Nalikwanda concerning the candidate who was supposed to stand in Nalikwanda in 2021? If the Socialist Party is really the party which is choosing people according to the Constitution, because I was the candidate, and the Constitution says when there is a change, all the aspiring candidates should come together and within themselves they choose who should contest if any change. But challenging me, what did the party did in Nalikwanda in 2021 general elections? I thank you. And also you said the SP does not look on positions, but where you are, I don't know if that title I'm seeing there is a position or it's not a position. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for coming through, Prince Likonge. You two could be part of the conversation by calling us. Would you like to respond to?
Well, I'm not careful enough to respond to Comrade Likonge on the issue of what happened in 2021, because by that time I was not part of the Socialist leadership. And so I don't know what really happened. And so on that score, by Likonge, I'm not careful enough to really give you a response because I was not part of the institution at the time. Talking about...
but in principle, what's the process of adoption of a candidate?
Of course, it is on the basis of it's the basis of what the local leadership wants. I mean, we want to go with the candidates that the local leadership have picked because we believe that they understand what needs to be done at the local level. And therefore, it is their responsibility to provide leadership at that level. So when it comes to the process of adoption, we want to go with the candidate that the locals themselves are convinced that is suitable candidate to go with in a particular by-election.
Let's see if we can pick another call. Let's see if we can pick another call.
There was an aspect of also about leadership. Look, if today record as a national, from my position, I don't make an issue out of it. As I said earlier on, for us, you can have a title and yet you are not a leader. And the titles does not mean leadership. For us, we are all leaders, even without titles. And we must all participate in driving the affairs of this country. And that's the reason why we've been very consistent to say, when we form government, the traditional leaders will get involved. The religious leaders will get involved. The civil society organization will get involved. It's not only the political leaders who must decide on the direction that this country should be able, to take. No, we must exercise inclusiveness, because the fact that some of us are involved in politics doesn't make us any better from those that are providing leadership in the religious circles. Doesn't make us any better from those who are providing leadership in the civil society circles.
Hello, good evening.
Pick another call. Good evening. You're through to tonight's edition of Diamond Live. Hello, good evening. Keep trying to get through to the number that is on your screen. This is Diamond Live, and we're featuring Kelvin Kaunda. He is the National Youth Chairperson of the Socialist Party. One of the biggest issues in the country at the moment is the now 21 hours of load shedding. What are the Socialist Party's solutions to this huge problem that has been caused out of climate change, out of the drought situation? Are you also calling it leadership?
Of course, everything evolves around the subject of leadership. Institution rises and falls on the basis of leadership. Countries rises and falls on the basis of leadership. And I'm happy that our current leaders did blame it on leadership as well. They said, when they were in opposition, that the only reason why we had these challenges at a time is because there was an absence of leadership. So if they had that understanding, nothing has changed even today. So their failure to deal with these challenges is also premised on leadership. Look, we are living at a time when technology has advanced. It's no longer, we must never be taken by surprise when we have droughts, because now there's technology that can be used, to ascertain that this is the amount of rainfall that we're going to receive as a country. So we must never be taken by surprise. And so we need, what is needed is our leaders to be a bit more proactive. I know of the fact that there were a couple of reports which were generated by some of our engineers, submitted to ZESCO, telling them about, addressing our current challenge. But unfortunately, there was no political will to deal with the recommendation that was coming from our experts. Look, Libya was a desert, and it's still a desert. How have they overcome the issue of power? There are many other nations who have the similar challenge like ours, and they've been able to resolve their challenges because there was progressive leadership in those spaces. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. All we need to do is to learn from those countries who have gone before us. One of the things that this government needs to do, other than requesting people to invest in solar, which is also quite expensive because there's no money now in circulation. Our people have no resources. So even if you tell them, no, please let's resort to the green energy or the alternative sources of energy, they have no capacity. There is need for this government to begin to invest in coal plants. It is easier, it's something that can be realized within a shortest possible time, and so on and so forth. There is also need for them to be deliberate about where they are going to establish the new plants. From the rain pattern, it is very clear where we have more rains. A number of our hydro power plants, they are based in either Lusaka and Southern Province and a few selected areas, the massive ones. Or the minor ones are the one you find possibly in Wapula and maybe part of Northern. And yet, climate change has demonstrated to us that actually we have a fair portion of rains in the Luapula province and also the northern region. And this calls for some change in terms of where we should be able to direct our investment insofar as hydro power station is concerned. So, really to blame it on climate change and droughts is not the way. The reason why people elect leaders is to resolve their problems. If there were no problems to be resolved, there is no need for us to be able to elect leaders. So why we elect leaders is because we want our leaders to deal with the challenges of our time. Other than that, there's no need for them to be elected in those positions.
Now we're in this situation, Comrade Kaunda. What short-term measures do you think government should be able to, to look at least to cushion the impact that comes with this extended load shedding?
Before you respond, maybe we can pick a caller as our last caller before we can conclude tonight's edition of Diamond Live. Good evening, and through to Diamond Live.
Hello?
Good evening. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I get you.
We are getting you loud and clear. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, Mr. Kaunda, the problem with you politician, you talk too much. All the politicians from Mulande, for now you can do the so you need to stick to your words. I'm ready to campaign that I'm Mulande Palette. And the future in mind. When you win, then Mwala from the Ijaba. So I'm doing it at Jinjo next now. Get some British and some film, get some claim about UPND. So I appreciate what doing that Supreme voters. That's what I can contribute.
Lewis Musonda, thank you for making time to call us this evening. You'd like to respond to that? Politicians, perhaps the same. They're cut from the same cloth.
Musonda, if Mwalanda fishinka, Emlandu wine ukuya kuntanshi chefa kokwewo kuti twakwata wa politician abanyowani imwe nabambi tufetwa ibimbapo pali umulimo tukwete ngata tuibimbirepo pali umulimo tukwete uwa kuchinja ama politics ya chalo chesu no kuchinja emikalile nemitekere tapaina ngofimwe fika chinja chachi nenda tukwata wa politician abengi kunu moku abachinja nga baka milioni lero natukwata esubiro kwebo kuti ukuya kuntanshi natukwata new generation yabachikula bwangu obo tufule twafuilisha ukwa part of ama politics ya chalo chesu pakuti twachinja iyi mibere ya politics yo twakwete kale na iyi responsibility ya kuchinja umusango wa kuchitira ama politics ili na imwe ili na ine. Only when you and me begin to participate in the political space of our country, nothing will ever get to change in terms of our political landscape. We want to guarantee you as a Socialist Party that we will never promise you lies. We will never do anything that we will not be able to deliver to the Zambian people. That's the more reason why, if you check from the time the Socialist Party was established, there's nowhere where Comrade Fred Membe, as he said, is going to fix this as an individual. I'll fix this and that, I'll fix this and that, because no one can do it single-handedly. It requires the support and the cooperation of all of us for us to be able to deal with the challenges that we are faced with as a country. The issue of saying, no, I'm the all-powerful, it is me Kaunda, it's me Fred Membe, it's me Cosmas Msomari, on the occasion of me being elected into this position, our problem yonse kapuisha fiabufi. Amafia tukwete as a country requires collective leadership. We have to come together. We have to consult widely. We must be humble enough to take advices from an ordinary citizen of this country. If we don't do that, we're not to go anywhere as a country.
Perhaps you can conclude with Andrew's question. Alternatives in load shedding.
As we conclude, I was asking about the alternatives that government could start looking at.
Well, the government, of course, one of the things that they need to do is they must be deliberate in terms of making access to financing. It's not enough to call the citizens of this country to alternative energy when they have no financial capacity. It's not cheap to invest in solar energy, by the way. it's quite pricey. And our people today who can't even afford 3 meals a day, energy is a secondary consideration. The only way we are going to deal with the issue of energy is that this government must be proactive in ensuring that access to financing these initiatives is made accessible to an ordinary Zambian. Secondly, they must interrogate the possibility of investing much more in coal power generation plants. This is something that can be realized within the shortest possible time, because it doesn't take much time to put up a coal power generation plant. Other than that, this power energy crisis is going to be a tragedy of gigantic proportion. Today, our people are struggling. There's nothing happening. The loss, the economic loss is too huge to contemplate. Unfortunately, our leaders tends to have this deliberate position that all is well. But we want to tell them that things are bad. Businesses, saluni, market, there's a need for them to pay serious attention to the issue of power.
Mr. Kelvin Kaunda, we would like to appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
National Youth Chairperson from the Socialist Party, Honorable Kelvin Kaunda, was joining us on tonight's edition of Diamond Live, obviously discussing the continuous resignation of senior party members from the Socialist Party. Mr. Kaunda says that the Socialist Party is still the fastest growing political party in the country. On behalf of the entire production crew, thank you so much for watching. My name is Andrew Omatsa.
My name is Cheso Kapasa. We love you. God bless.